In today's video, we look at the 10 most populated cities in the world. Now, before we begin, some perspective on this population. First up, the whole way in which population across the world has literally exploded. Because if you look at the overall global population in 1915, we were looking at just 1.8 billion. And about 100 years from there on, we are looking at 7 billion. So the growth has been absolutely staggering. And beyond that, what we see is that this growth has not been uniform in the sense that we see certain parts of the world where growth has been much more than what it has been in other parts. For instance, in Asia, we see that population is majorly concentrated, and within Asia, we see two countries in particular, India and China, where the population is very, very heavily concentrated. So, that is a perspective on population. And then let's jump in and look at the 10 most populated cities across the world. First up, we have Tokyo with a population of 38 million. And Tokyo, of course, is the capital of Japan and a major technological hub across the world. It's interesting to know that the city Tokyo was formed only in 1943. So, in just a few years, few decades, so to say, from there on, we see that Tokyo has absolutely exploded in population, and we see a very large concentration of human activity within a limited geography. So, that's Tokyo for you, right at the top with 38 million people. Then after that we have Delhi with which is the capital of India with 25 million people. And in Delhi's instance as well, we see that the growth in population has come in a rather short period of time because Delhi did not have such a high population. And a variety of different factors, various job opportunities which are not there in other parts of the country, many other factors together have contributed towards the growth of Delhi as a center for various activities, which in turn has meant that population concentration has happened in Delhi in a very big way. Now, third up on the list, we have Shanghai with 22 million people. And Shanghai is, of course, a part of China and the business capital of the country, a cosmopolitan society, a major city across the world. And therefore, Shanghai's presence on this list is perhaps no surprise at all. Fourth, we have Mexico City and touching 21 million people, a little less than that. And in Mexico City's instance, perhaps the interesting part is the fact that its gross domestic product or GDP alone is $411 billion, which is a very high amount for a city. In fact, if you compare with a lot of countries around the world, you'll find that they would not have such a high GDP. So, obviously, in terms of productivity, manufacturing activity, etc., Mexico City is right up there. And another interesting fact is that it's the oldest capital city in the Americas. Fifth, we have Sao Paulo in Brazil, a big city, and in fact, the biggest city in the southern hemisphere. And one interesting piece of information here we see is that it's the home to the world's largest Italian, Arab, and Japanese diasporas. Again, population almost touching 21 million, like Mexico City. Number six, we have Mumbai, the commercial capital of India, second most populated city in India, and also the highest concentration of millionaires and billionaires. And number seven, we have Osaka, 20.1 million people, Japan's third largest city, divided into two areas, that is Kita meaning north and Minami meaning south. Number eight, we have Beijing with a population of 20.1 million people, an old city with lots of attractions like the Forbidden City, Temple of Heaven, Summer Palace, Great Wall, and much more. Number 9, we have New York City with a population of 18.5 million, of course, a global city and perhaps needs no introduction at all. And as far as immigration and the influx of population into the new world, so to say, and people actually first making their inroads into the US, New York was pretty much where they actually first landed. So, New York in particular needs perhaps no introduction at all. And finally, number 10, we have Cairo in Egypt which is at a population of 18.4 million. It's the largest city in the Middle East, and of course, one of the oldest cities in the world, in a part of the world which itself is so historically rich and full of culture and going back ages and ages. And the very location of Cairo, in particular, that itself makes it such a big attraction, wherein it's situated right beside the Nile River and near all these ancient attractions like the Great Sphinx as well as the pyramids of Giza. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, with the top 10 most populated cities around the world at this point in time. And you can look forward to more such videos on this channel. So, do remember to subscribe.